solution. In 2023, we will not have an incumbent president that is contesting at the polls. My brothers and sisters, this is a huge opportunity for us as a country to go back to the drawing board and rewrite the story of our dear nation. And that is why I will tell you that it is possible. And if you compare the last election results, in 2019, President Muhammadu Buhari won with about 14-point-something million votes. If you round out up to 15 million votes, the rest of the candidates, give them another 15 million. That is 30 million. Close your eyes and throw 30 million in the bush. That is 60 million. If you take 60 million out of 240 million people, you still have 180 million people. So out of 180 million people, I was saying that we can never bring a 25-30 million people that are ready to sacrifice for this nation. Because we cannot get what we want without sacrifice. A lot of us have left what we are doing. At We Together, I can see faces that are from other geopolitical zones, and they are here today because they are sacrificing their time for something that they think that it is important to do. So sacrifice, even in the Bible, Abraham, that we the Muslim know as Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salatu wasalam, he was ready to sacrifice his own son. So how many of us can even sacrifice our phone today? Today, the politicians are the first line of people that should sacrifice for this country. Because I am part of the politicians, whether I like it or not. A lot of people like to now run away from that fact because in Nigeria we have given that that name politician, we are giving it a bad notion. Even the students that goes to school to study political science, they are even ashamed to call themselves politicians when you ask them. And it is because of what we are turned politics to be. But whether we like it or not, we must sacrifice for this country. We have gotten to a stage in Nigeria where we need to be able to sacrifice, for this country. And in 2023, that opportunity will come for us to do that. Because the country is suffering from a system failure. There is no other name to call it. It is a complete system failure, and we are not here to blame anybody. At We Together, we do not blame. At We Together, we don't complain. What we do is to provide solution. And We Together is a platform that has designed a mechanism to bring solution to the table. There is no messiah that can help Nigeria. What Nigeria needs is a working system. And our political parties must realize this at this time. A country that has 6 geopolitical zones, even a geopolitical zone in Nigeria today is bigger than a whole nation. There are some states that are bigger than a whole nation. 774 local governments, 8,809 wards, and you believe that a man will come and solve that problem? Hell no. We should wake up from this slumber and understand that we require a system and not any individual. And this is what We Together is building. I am the national coordinator of We Together. And I can tell you for fact why I believe that We Together is the answer to our question in Nigeria. At We Together, we are first of all building and mobilizing from top to the bottom. There are 9 people that started this. They brought 5 people of like minds. Those 5 people brought 5 people of like minds, and they were able to fill up a number of about 260. And after that, they decided to check the leadership of that line, make sure that is okay, then take everybody out to their various geopolitical zones. At the geopolitical zone, 9 people bringing 5 people again, 5 people bringing 5 people again of like minds, until they fill that up as well, and they go to the state. From the state to the local government, for the local government to the world. So today, are We Together, if we have 250 people in each of the wards in Nigeria, that is about almost 2.3 million people. 2.3 million people, even at 1,000 naira contribution. I will not deposit 1,000 naira. I know many of us in this room would deposit more than 1,000 naira. So even at 1,000 naira, that is 2.3 billion naira. You will see that you don't need any godfather to get the right people in position of responsibility. I am happy that my brother, the NANS president, is here. Ashefon, today, the students are the ones that are badly hit most because our educational system is in shambles. Whether we like it or not, if the students, they put their feet on the ground and every one of them come to develop a new system as we are doing at We Together, that means we have 32 million people. 32 million people to be able to get this done. So don't believe that anybody is going to come to Nigeria to build Nigeria for us. We are Nigerians. God has created so much opportunity on our land. It will not come from heaven to come and rebuild our land for us. God has given us that opportunity in 2023, and we make sure that we rise up to that opportunity and build a system that will know that can take Nigeria out of the mess. The system has failed. There is nobody to be blamed because we have been mentioning failure for the past about 3 to 4 decades. I'm sure there are good minds of people that have been in politics before and they have not been able to do anything. Why? Because you cannot change a failed system. If you want to create change, you have to build a new system and make the present existing system obsolete. When I joined politics, there is one notion that I hear from politicians. A campaign voice. Huh? And I'm rounding up. That's one of the failed systems. It's the dividend of failure. Okay. So, as you know, this is one of the things that we're discussing about. If we want to complain, we will continue to complain. This is one of the things that we're talking about. If we want to complain, we will continue to complain from today to tomorrow. That is why you see that we are partners in suffering. We are partners in complaint. But whenever election comes, that is when you see that they start to throw the card of this one is Yoruba, this one is Igbo, this one is Hausa, or this one is Muslim, or this one is Christian, or this one is APC, this one is PDP. But when we are in darkness now, both Muslim and Christians, Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa, we are in darkness together. You know, it is just an example of what is going on in this country. And I believe that as Nigerians, it is high time for us to rise up and put our differences aside. We should put these mere sentiments of being a Muslim or a Christian or being a Yoruba, a Hausa or an Igbo or being an APC member or PDP member, AA member of a political party. This is the time to put that aside and know that you are first Nigerian before you belong to any political party, a religion, or ethnicity. My brothers and sisters, when I joined politics, there is a notion that I hear when I joined politics. In Yoruba, they say, "Ere òṣèlú ò sí lọ́run." What it means is they tell you the benefit of politics is not in the heaven. When they say the benefit of politics is not in heaven, that notion that you see has turned a lot of politicians to criminals. Because everybody now wants to amass all the wealth that they want to amass on the surface of this earth. When I joined politics, I had to be covenant with God that I want my benefit to be in the heaven. Because as a politician, you must be able to subdue your personal interest for the interest of the people. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Unveiling of We Together Southeast, happening live here in Awka, the Anambra State capital. And you just heard the Honorable Shino Pella, who gave the address there, and he was telling us that the project is necessary to ensure that a large number of Nigerians work together to rewrite the history of Nigeria and build a system that will help Nigeria move forward politically.
But Hausa, or whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, or if you like a pagan, it does not really matter. I had the story about, people in the aircraft, and there was a problem, and the aircraft was wavering. There was so much, on air, and the Christian began to pray, Father, in the name of Jesus. And you heard Muslims saying, Amen. In the name of Jesus, Muslims and Christians, nobody remembered that he was a Christian or Muslim because of the turbulence they were having. And then on the other side, the Muslims saying, Allah Akbar, Allah. You saw Christians also joining in saying, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Because there was a problem. Everybody wanted us to come together and solve that problem. So that is what we are talking about at We Together. Whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim, whether you're Yoruba, Hausa, or let's come together to save this country from this malaria. Please put your hands together one more time for... At this juncture, with all due respect, ladies and gentlemen, let me invite to speak to us this suave, debonair, erudite, and urbane gentleman who is the chairman of Board of Trustees of We Together Movement Nigeria, Alhaji Ibrahim Hussein Abdul Karim. Please put your hands together for him. Are you ready with that video? There's a video that should play now. Okay.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, all. Permit me to be on the existing protocols. My own is just a brief about what we've been doing in We Together, and then what we want to achieve in We Together. And straightforward, my conscious of first, but very painful to us to see them exiting this kind of Nigeria and giving us what we have seen today. If you be in government from 1999, for example, to date, I think if you cannot hide yourself, I think the best thing for you to do is to come and give support to a system like We Together, so that at least you exit this world being a happy person. But as of today, if you will exit within this period where Nigeria is in pain, the young men cannot even understand why Nigeria is in pain today. Because the story we had in the 60s and in the 70s and in the 80s, and the schools you had, I know you are listening to me, in the 70s, in the 80s, are not the schools we are studying today. As we talk today, if you school in the 70s, in the 80s, you haven't heard anything about ASU strike. You don't even know ASU. But today, even children that are in primary school, they have started thinking, adding more years to their years, because they know the ASU is going to be in front of them. That's minus the COVID-19 and other things that are going to come up. This is the challenges. This is what we are talking about. We have to create a leadership that solves problems. Our anger today to the generation before us is that they were not solving problems, and they still keep insisting to be in the helms of affairs. They still want to be president. They still want to be governor. Being a leader is responsibility. It's not just for you to rule. Politician, you are listening to us. What we are asking in We Together, tell us, where are you leading us to? Because as we have seated today here, there is no young person in this hall that will tell you where Nigeria will be in the next 100 years. In fact, they can't tell you in the next 50 years. In fact, we can't tell of today. We are here in Aqua. We don't know even we will reach back to our houses, not being kidnapped or not being somewhere. This is the story of Nigeria as of today. So as a board of trustee, I will tell people listening to us categorically, as we stand on this podium to talk to Nigerians, we'll tell them one thing about We Together. It's not about party. It's not about person. It's about Nigeria first. Because any other person, all those holes we have been seeing, people buying form, people doing anything, they are not going to lead themselves. They are leading Nigeria, and there is no Nigeria as a nation. So you can't fix what is not there. As my people from Igbo land said, you can't shave your head. We can't shave your head in your absence. That means you have to be there for your head to be shaved. So there is no Nigeria as we talk today. Because it's not about having a country. It's about having a nation. But we can't do it as young people unless we have the competence and also the know for us to change the dimension. So my coordinator and everybody is standing here and said, we are no more going to accept what is happening. But what are we producing? What are we showing as young people that we want to do the change? I think that's what my national coordinator is saying. This is an opportunity for young men and women to rally within the We Together so that within ourselves, we select our best to represent us irrespective of your party. But we have to believe that first, you are our best. So that when we fail, we tell them it's our best that fell for us. But we can't wait for somebody that we know he has tried in 1993, maybe he has tried in 2007, 2000, and is still in government, maybe by now. But he's still telling us, let me try again. What we said is that just exercise patience. Let's try another thing so that at least we can do something better for ourselves. So we are calling you to We Together. We are calling you to take the destiny of your life. Hold it very close to your chest and be the change you want to see. You can't come to this podium and said other people don't have integrity. But when they look at you, you are the same thing like them. It's just that you are just a 45-year-old Nigerian person. So it's just waiting for your own time. So at the whole of the strata, from the poor to the rich to the middle class, to the old to the young and to the whatever you think, we are all Nigerians having not a good heart and not a good mind for us to be a nation. So I think what we are doing in We Together is first to adjust the mindset. They call it mind revolution. Change the thinking. Accept your nation. This your green passport. This is what you are going to leave for your children. They need a land and they need a country. No matter how agitated you are, no matter how spiritual you are, no matter how politically buoyant or big man you call yourself, the first thing when you are leaving this country, they will ask you is your passport. And that passport defined you. That's mean your nation defined you even if you are Dangote. And I always give an example on this podium. If you go to Dangote's house today and you met his children eating from the dustbin, you know something is very, very wrong. So we can't come in Nigeria to see people wallowing in poverty with all the good brains that are seen in Nigeria. People being good people and being the best outside Nigeria. Why is it that our country is not working for us? This is the questions we want to ask in We Together. And we can't do it alone. That's why we are calling everybody. That's why we're going around all the country to tell people that instead of people to come and tell us, vote for us, we can do this, we can do that. No. What we do, let us select those people that will lead us. We don't have to. We know them. We know their houses. We know their antecedents. We know who they are. We can Google them. That's why we have the internet. If you have a case in the US or you have a case with EFCC, we can find it out. As Mr. President Obasanjo is saying, if the system is working, most of these people parading themselves as candidates will not be there to parade themselves as candidates. But because the system is not working. It's our responsibility to make the system work. We have to make it work. If we want to see our brothers in universities, we will make it work. If you want to see electricity, we will make it work. There is no amount of money people or other government from outside the country or outside Africa will help us. And let me remind you of something that I always see and I'm always happy with. When I look at the speech of Tafawa Balewa in the United States of America, he said, "We are building Nigeria for Africa. And we are not going to use our powers of number and the resources to dominate any African country. We are going to lift a system that every African man will be proud of Nigeria." And I always tell you, when you look at Nigeria, it's like a trigger point as a map that's waiting for somebody just to trigger it so that it will now go. So the actual thing we want to do is that let's use the young, vibrant Nigerians to start that new Nigeria. We should not be complaining. We should stop lamentation. Let's act, and let's act now. Nigeria is the only thing given to us by God, and we will not allow religion, tribalism, political differences not to allow us to choose the right people to take us to the El Dorado. We will take ourselves to that El Dorado. Thank you very much.
We are still in Awka, the capital city of Anambra State, and the program is We Together Unveiling the Southeast. Then, who have just spoken to the gathering is Alhaji Ibrahim Abdul Karim. He is the chairman board of trustees of We Together. He said creating a leadership that will solve the Nigerian problem is the aim of We Together project. He said the project is about the interest of Nigeria, and he urges the Nigerian citizens to be agents of positive change that Nigeria needs. He also added that the project will bring about a system that every Nigerian will be proud of.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Kemo Kike, the Southeast Regional Director for Youth Mobilization. So on behalf of the Youth Mobilization Youth Wing, we have this presentation to make to the board of We Together.
I can see the able hats, but I think I'm still wearing my my normal chooks. Am I supposed to change it to my? So I will carry it on. Thank you very much. I think I'm very grateful, not for myself, for the We Together. At least this is one of the good gifts from the Southeast. And we always tell ourselves that when we are coming to Southeast, because we have seen Southeast excel almost on everything we are doing in Nigeria, from the football team to the Nollywood to any other thing, the financial institutions, and they are all over the world doing the best. But what they are missing is that they are not around during the political dispensation of this country. They always stay away. But with this capping the We Together, we know that you are going to be all on board so that at least you will represent yourself and give yourself the position you deserve. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
The Chairman Board of Trustees has just been presented with a souvenir which indicates the unity of Nigeria, the This is Southeast Nigeria, and the memorial represents the Southeast, where this ceremony is taking place.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is a public relations guru. He is a teacher. He is a renowned advertising practitioner. He is a reporter. He is a columnist. He is an editor and one-time commissioner for information, culture, and tourism in Anambra State. And I'm talking about the man that will give us the keynote speech for this occasion. Tony Onyema, Chief Tony Onyema, PhD. Please put your hands together for him as he comes forward.
Good afternoon. May I please, you permit me to stand on an already established protocol so that we can save some time. I've been invited to share some thoughts on the challenges of good governance, leadership, and participation in Nigeria. Let me therefore begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to we together for the honor and privilege of inviting me to speak at this important occasion. I also thank God for granting all of us journey message to Oka, where we have all gathered as brothers and sisters to exchange ideas on the future of our dear nation. Since its launch, I have followed with keen interest the activities of We Together Nigeria. I am enamored by its ideals, vision, and mission it has set for itself as an organization. The movement has committed itself to mobilizing and unifying patriotic Nigerians from all walks of life. To achieve this lofty objective, the movement realizes that it needs human participation. Hence, it counts a very beautiful payoff line. Let's do it ourselves. The payoff line speaks volumes. It shows a people who have been disenchanted, disillusioned, disappointed over what is happening. Rather than sit back and agonize, the initiators of We Together have decided to organize for a new Nigeria which will guarantee unity, justice, and fairness. In spite of its inherent challenges, many political scholars agree that democracy remains the best form of system of government available to humanity. It is no doubt a people-oriented process. It is a political process by the people and for the people. It is a unique concept which we faithfully believe in, hoping that we will be best governed if all of us participate in the process. In fact, one English person has likened democracy to a conversation, a place where the intelligence and local knowledge of the electorate sums up together to arrive at actions that reflect the participation of the largest number of people. This means that democracy is a game of numbers. The key to its secret is the involvement of the majority of the citizens. When fewer people participate in the political process, the quality of representative democracy diminishes. This means that we can make an informed opinion about the health of Nigeria's democracy from the level of participation by Nigerians. Unfortunately, the health of Nigeria's democracy since 1999 has not been good. going by the number of people who participate in each election cycle. Let's look at some figures. According to INEC, as at April 2019, 84 million Nigerians registered to vote in that presidential election of 2019. This represents 42% of the nation's over 200 million people as at February that year, 2019. Note that this figure could be less when you consider the percentage of voter turnout. In fact, statistics from INEC indicate that since 2007, there has been continuous low voter turnout at elections, indicating that perhaps Nigerians are not civic-minded. Yet, we are the most vociferous critics of the nation's leadership. It is therefore very obvious that low citizen participation has been one persistent problem facing Nigeria's political process. Even more worrisome is the quality of the few citizens who turn out to register and eventually vote. The reasons for this low participation are many and varied. The formation of We Together is meant to solve this problem. The objective is to increase the quality of youth participation in the political process, believing that given their number, they will galvanize mass participation towards a new Nigeria. With 57 million youths, Nigeria occupies the 6th position in top 10 countries with the largest youth participation in the world. Let's go back in history. In 1999, President Obasanjo won the presidential elections with 18.7 million votes. And in 2003, he won re-election with 24 million votes. In 2011, President Goodluck won with 23 million votes. In 2015, President Mohamed Buhari won with 15 million votes. And in 2019, he won re-election with 15 million votes and some fraction. Note that from 1999 till 2019, all the presidential elections have been won with less than half of the number of youth population in Nigeria. Let's contrast this with the votes recorded in the last edition of BB Niger, the Shine Your Eyes, which White Money won. That reality show recorded 1.3 billion votes. A 44% more than 2019 and 20 editions combined. The combined total of votes recorded in all the presidential elections since 1999 is 96.3 million votes. This is less than 1.3 billion votes recorded by one edition of BB Niger. This tells an interesting story of the power of the youth. We must realize that it is through quality engagement with the electoral process that transformational leadership emerges. And a transformational leader invariably ensures good governance. Studies have shown that a country's governance system largely determines how that country's political actors pursue sustainable economic and social policies. Almost all the major development institutions and other actors within the international arena agree that good governance has become a necessary ingredient for sustainable economic growth. In fact, late Mr. Kofi Annan, the United Nations Secretary General, once noted, I quote, "Good governance is perhaps the single most important factor in eradicating poverty and promoting development." There is a connection, therefore, between democracy and good governance. The two concepts in practice may overlap. For instance, democracy refers to participation by the citizens and the legitimacy of government, while good governance refers to the effectiveness of government. To ensure this effectiveness, institutions like World Bank and other international actors have worked out a number of conditions that characterize good governance. And some of them include, number one on that top list is participation, rule of law, transparency, accountability, independence of judiciary, equity, and security. We can then, therefore, or rather in conclusion, we have established that there is an intricate relationship between democracy, leadership, and good governance. Our thesis is that democracy is a game of numbers, and it is only through participation that we can elect transformational leadership who will most likely ensure good governance. We have also shown that Nigerian youths have the numbers to build a new Nigeria of their dream. With the increasing deployment of technology to the electoral process, the Nigerian youths can recreate the BB Niger buzz around our elections in 2023. Let me end this short presentation with insightful words of President George W. Bush. Something he said at his inaugural, and I quote, "I ask you to be citizens. Citizens, not spectators. Citizens, not subjects. Responsible citizens build communities of service and a nation of character," unquote. This is, therefore, my charge to members of We Together. We have a choice to make. However, as one of the philosophers noted, one of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you will end up being governed by your inferiors. Participate for God, community, and our nation. And like We Together will say, let's go and do it for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Chief Tony Oima, he was the keynote speaker at the unveiling of the We Together Southeast. He has said that Nigeria has the potential to bring about good governance, and he ensured that he also encouraged the youth to actively participate in enthroning good leadership in Nigeria.
This room, not doing what they ought to do, and then fools will be leading us in this country. And you see where that's why we are at the brink, of precipice in this country. And that is why we together must succeed. If we don't want fools to rule us, we together must succeed. Please put your hands together one more time for Chief Tony Onyema for that wonderful. We're now going to invite for strategic partnership and sign of partnership document between We Together Movement and Reality Movement. Jamil Abdul Salam, who is coordinating officer, National Coordinating Committee, and Honorable Engineer Ifanyo Okonkwo for Reality Family Organization. Are they here? We'll do that quickly and then we'll get to the panel session. Byron.
Yeah, they are going to sign the strategic partnership and the vision of a We Together project. is to build a united Nigeria where every Nigerian is assured of good quality life, irrespective of tribe, religion, and political class. And they said their mission is to establish a new united system of leadership comprising young, competent, and patriotic leaders of selfless and more effective governance. They said we together is committed to unifying and mobilizing patriotic Nigerians from all walks of life for the change Nigeria desire. They have come together to think together and to move together and then act together. They said that they work with fellow patriotic Nigerians in Africa and across the world. Their aim is to build this movement from the ground up, persons to person, community to community, because democracy isn't a thought, rather it is an act.
Pella brought, and the one that Honorable Ibezim brought, I decided to withdraw my own immediately. Because if you check, their own is not biro. If you check their pens, these are pens that I used to sign, millions of them. This one I used to sign my salary as a public servant. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the panel session. The lead for this panel session is a very young man, pure and industrial chemist of note. He's a human capital development specialist, a public relations specialist too, and a publisher of note. Incidentally, he was born on the 19th of March, 1976. And you know today's date, 19th of March. And we're unveiling this in his state, Anambra. Please put your hands together for Chief Chuks Ifajeku. Please come forward. He is the lead for this panel session. Thank you. There must be something about this unveiling today. There must be something about it. You will tell me after. The next is Dr. Nkem Hilary Okeke. When I saw this name, I was wondering whether he was the former deputy governor of Anambra State that is with you guys and we together. But I saw this handsome young medical practitioner who is also former president of UNIZIC Students Union and a resource speaker extraordinaire. Dr. Nkem Hilary Okeke, please come forward. He's one of the participants. There's also a consummate business development professional, social engineer, and systems integration expert, Imran Gino. Please come forward. It will be unfair if we are not gender sensitive here. So I'm going to garnish, the panel setting with a rare combination of beauty and brain. And I'm talking about this young woman who is an IT guru and teacher, computer scientist of note, Stephanie Esibano. Please put your hands together for her. Where is she? A round of applause for her, please. You see what I mean? Is the colors, the color you're seeing, is it not garnishing the panel setting? Please put your hands together for her one more time. And then a member of a board of trustees of We Together, who is a leadership development expert and a legal luminary of note, Barrister Stanley Ekpa. Please come and join them. Please put your hands together for him. Before they start, play me one video. Let's use that to settle them down. And then I hand over to Chief Chuks Ifajeku. Please put your hands together for them, ladies and gentlemen. Video, please.
It's time to put aside our differences and come together to build the Nigeria we can proudly call ours. A nation filled with opportunities for every Nigerian, bound by justice, love, and unity. We cannot wait for government solely to bring about the change we desire. We must come together, think, move, and act together. This requires you, yes, you, to join and participate constructively in the conversation. For the power of the people is far greater than the few in power. Together, we can do so much better. The best time to act is now. Visit our website at www.wetogether.ng to find out more about this initiative. We together, let's do it ourselves. This message is brought to you by We Together Nigeria.
Thank you so much. Thank you. This panel session will make it as simple and as understandable as possible. Our questions will have to be very clear so that people can pick some messages home. There seems to be a consensus in Nigeria that things are not running the way they ought to be running. Most people are battered in Nigeria, yet many people don't want to do anything about it. At We Together, what we are here to do is to find solutions. And those solutions, driving from the problems, are what we are going to discuss here. And we'll make it as brief as possible. The most problems we face, most of the important problems we face, is citizens' involvement in leadership process and political processes. And there seems to be perceived exclusion of the youth in the scheme of things. Also perceived exclusion of some sections of the country, like the Southeast may claim also that they are excluded. Imran, I will start with you. What's your take on this? And what must we do to begin to correct the anomalies?
The problem of exclusion in polity, we first of all have to ask ourselves the question of contribution. What did I contribute? It's always good, you should ask yourself in any society, organization, family, wherever you exist, ask yourself, what is your contribution? We are meant to make contributions as human beings. And in anywhere you see leakages or holes, definitely somebody is not contributing his quota. And that is why you see problems all over. So if we begin to understand the essence of contribution as human beings or as individuals, you will begin to understand or to see tremendous changes. For instance, as youth, we complain we are excluded. But do you ever sit down to analyze your contribution, the role you play in your community? Have you ever thought of your effort to belong to a movement? Let's say We Together, for example. Have you ever thought of, owning a voter's card, participating in an election process? Then if you answer these questions, that is when we will begin to talk of exclusion or begins to talk of I'm backward or things are not going. It's not about sitting down to complain. It's not about sitting down to look at and expect other people to contribute to the table. You only come to the table and eat. It's about partaking, it's about contribution. And that is what we talk about in We Together, that, okay, after even reaching a threshold, we are going to be contributing our resources. And contribution could mean anything. It could be financial, it could be intellectual, it could be even sharing love, it could be, support. You should come out, cheer someone to do the right thing. It could be, okay, I'm supporter, I will do my part in a way I will never be a nuisance to anybody. And I will do my thing as a citizen. I will try to be a good citizen of a country. So these are the aspects of contribution we always talk of. So we came to say, okay, we will, just as the national coordinator, Honorable Shino Pella, said, that we, after reaching a threshold, will be contributing at least 1,000 naira. So if you will all do this, or we will all do this as members, when we get to that threshold, we will see a tremendous achievement, an end to even talks of exclusion, because that gives everybody a level playing field. It could be like a launch pad for people who are saying that, okay, I am away, I'm not even, I'm excluded. So that gives you the launch pad to even showcase yourself. Just the way we say competence will determine who becomes who and who goes where. So it's about the contribution, your competence, and you go places.
Okay, thank you so much. So you can't actually talk about exclusion when you have not gotten involved. You must have to get involved first before you can claim to have been excluded. That's the point we are getting from Imran. However, Honorable Shina Pella has always said that to fight the current system, we don't need to fight them physically. We don't need to fight them by words. That we need to evolve or create a new system that will make the old system obsolete. Right? However, let me bring this perspective to you. In Anambra State, where we are, in the last election that produced the governor that was installed day before yesterday, the people that decided, 2.5 million people registered to vote in that election. Only 112,000 decided the fate of the 2.5 million people. Yes, less than 250,000 voted, but the winner of the election came out with 112,000 votes as against 2.5 million people. And some people say it's because of insecurity at the time. But when I juxtapose that with what happened in Abuja, in Amak, where 73,000 people registered to vote and only 1,900 voted, that begins to raise other questions that is beyond insecurity. Ekba, member of the board of We Together, what's your take on this? What are those other problems? Does it mean that people have been so disenfranchised that they don't want to take part in political process, or what? What's the problem?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chooks. First of all, let me say that it is not a case that people have been disenfranchised. More so, given the fact that the Amak election you referenced, there were awareness and advocacies by different civil society organizations for people to register, for people to vote. And people did actually register to vote. What I think is the fundamental problem is that there's a vacuum. People have lost confidence in the old system. People don't trust the system we have in place. People don't have hope in what we have at the moment. And it's not just in any part of the country, any single part of the country alone. So what is the cause of it? You look at the fundamental issues and principles to which We Together espouses as an organization or is bringing forth now. Those are the core issues to which voters are dissatisfied about. There are no opportunities, equal opportunities for everyone. They don't see the basic amenities, where government fails to fulfill its promises. The daily lives of the people are threatened. There's poor educational system. There's no health facilities. They feel entirely not being carried along and excluded. And so the idea really is, how do we bring up, as you said earlier on, as the national coordinator will always say, how do we bring up a new system that would begin to preach and propagate the idea of equality, fairness, inclusivity, and all that? Fundamentally speaking, that is where the idea of We Together comes on board. A new system that carries everybody along. When people begin to feel that they're part of a system, it is not difficult for them to understand the fact that a state is like a public company, a private company. And all the members of the company, the shareholders, the staff, even the customers, they work together to ensure that that company works effectively and productively. But if the company is dying and there's no system, there's no credible system in place within that company, definitely, no matter what you do, no matter the advocacy, no matter what different civil society organizations try to do, nothing will change. And so what we need to do basically is to ensure that organizations like We Together, which has come to stay, should begin to do what we're doing at the moment. Begin to think of how we continue to propagate the idea of this new system that is inclusive. And I'll give you an instance, just a brief instance. In this region we are now, for over a long time, there has been this idea, as the zonal coordinator said, a conspiracy for that, I would also agree to, that the people are not really interested, are not really concerned. No, that's not the case. In the southeastern region, you would say there is a leadership vacuum. So by the time We Together, for instance, begin to identify the right candidates and then carry the voters along, and the voters begin to see reason for them to stop sitting at home, for them to come out and ensure that these right candidates that are being selected, that are being pushed or being selected or voted into offices, do the right thing. Trust me, in subsequent elections. And by the way, we are hopeful that, and I congratulate India Anambra on the new governor, that we have. There is a whole lot of hope. If Professor Charles Soludo does the right thing, which we pray and we are confident is going to do, you will see that as a state, Anambra, for instance, will begin to see a higher turnout. The 11,000 or 12,000 voters you reference now, we'll begin to see more than or close to the 2 million voters that registered turnout in the next election to vote. So that actually is a solution to it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are taking away that people have actually lost faith in the current system. So, and the new system that is being evolved through We Together is what people should hold tenaciously to begin to re-encourage the people to begin to join the process again. Thank you so much. I want to go into another part of election called money politics. People rather would collect 2,000 naira, 3,000 naira during election, during voting, to sell their votes, and complain for 4 years for lack of good leadership. Dr. Nkem, what's your take on this? And where do we go from here?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. This is not something that is strange to everyone here. This is what we already know and we live with. And I'm happy that an organization like We Together has come to be, because I no longer believe in discussing problems. I no longer believe in discussing problems. It is about the solutions. It's very simple to get solved the problem of vote buying in our political system. It's simple, and that is the leadership. Everything boils on the leadership. We need to cost down the cost of governance. We need to bring it down, the cost of governance. If the cost of governance in Nigeria is brought down, you will find out that a whole lot of politicians who are currently in the system will withdraw. And they will not be able to push in that kind of amount of money they push in elections. Because you find out that you during an election, a candidate for a particular election will spend close to 500 million billions of naira, increasing the rates at which one can participate. For example, in Anambra State here and some parts of Southeast, it will be very difficult for a youth to vie for an election in House of Assembly because of the high rate, the cost that it will take for you to run the election. We have credible youth, we have credible young men, we have good young men with good mindset, with the right orientation to renegotiate and implement a better Nigeria and transform Nigeria. But because they don't have the wealth, considering the cost of the political system, they cannot be able to come in and run. So what we need to do is to cut down the cost of governance. When you cut down the cost of governance, a whole lot of things will wade away. Godfatherism will go away. You find out that it will only be the credible persons that will come. By that time, you may even be seeing religious leaders vying for election. Yes, because the cost of governance will be very palatable to all and none. It will no longer be a game of the money bags. It will no longer be a game of what you are expecting. It will no longer be a game of how much you are going to share on the polling booth. And then another thing is voter apathy. Voter apathy is also one of the reasons why we are having high costs. Vote buying and all what have you. By the time you know that there's going to be a serious low turnout, you want to use your money and influence the letter that's coming out so you can get the greater percentage. And then why is there voter apathy? You talk about presentation of non-credible candidates for election. The former president of Nigeria, His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, just said that if the system is working, some persons parading themselves as presidential aspirants shouldn't be in the race. You see? So when you present non-credible candidates, the masses tends to lose interest. It is a very great cause of voter apathy. When you talk about rigging, in the course of my some of my talks and conference, I happened to interact with my colleagues, and they told me that one reason why they don't participate in electoral process is because they feel their votes are not counted. What will it take that you come out, take your time, risk your life, be under the sun and all that, after voting for a particular candidate, they will tell you that that particular candidate got 0 in that voting point. Is there any other rigging that is better than this one? It is simply the failure glaring at your face. So it is a question of how do we come about reducing rigging and totally taking it away from our political system. It is very, very important. And then another cause of it is violence. When people are not secured, even in their homes, in nights, is it about an electoral process where you see politicians committing a whole lot of things, atrocities, to gain power, that you now come out and trade your life for it? It is a serious question that borders for answer. And that is why we are here, and that is why we together has come, I believe so. So what we need to do is like you together has pointed out, let's do it ourselves. At any level you are in, at any level of leadership, whatever you find yourself in, preach the gospel of a better Nigeria. Don't give up on Nigeria. Because if you keep on Nigeria, you are giving up on your birthright. I'm a medical practitioner. Most of my colleagues are at the embassy now, at the different embassies, trying to move out of Nigeria, and I've told them that I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. We are going to stay here, and we are going to make this country better. And that is why I'm able to find myself among this panelists and discussants. Because it borders on me and you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are you bothered that he's not wanting to leave? So you would have supported him to leave? But he said he's not leaving because he's a good Nigerian. Thank you so much, Doctor. The woman in our midst, Stephanie Ezibanu. The issue of injustice or perceived injustice or selective justice and insecurity, they both appear as inseparable maladies. To begin to deeply understand the situation we find ourselves in Nigeria. Because when you treat Dr. Nkem differently for committing a particular offense and treat Chuks differently for committing that same offense, Either of the two, we go home so sad because a standard is not set. And whenever he finds opportunity to fight, he will. Do you think that this is part of the problem we are facing in Nigeria? And how do you think we should begin to solve it? The problem of injustice as a precursor for insecurity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am Stephanie. I am a teacher, a proud one at that. Yes. Thank you. In fact, I think you've nailed it. Injustice. It is very, very wrong to accept justice in a particular area or place or amongst a selected few and say no to the same justice for other group of persons. That is the problem we have in Nigeria. And that is another reason why it looks like the youth are not so involved in what's going on in politics. You know, though Chairman Beauty said something, I listened to you very well yesterday, when you were speaking on ABS, and I picked so many things from there. He said something, that even if you pick the best president, the most intelligent, the most experienced, and bring the person to Nigeria to rule us, Nigeria will still not work. Because the system has failed. What are those things that has caused? In fact, my students, I am a school principal, my students would tell me all the time, Ma, what's the need? Education is scam. Yes. Why do they say that? They also see what is going on. They have eyes, they listen to us. We should say no. The beauty of we together is that even if every other person is silent in the face of this injustice that looks like it's affecting the Southeast more, we together will not be silent at all. We together will always see something. We will always discuss it. We will always say something. And you know what? We will do something differently that will bring that change we all require. I tell you, if Nigeria, or if we start selecting those leaders that will do the right thing, like he said, our best, when we bring out our best to rule. Can you hear me? Okay. When you bring the best amongst us to rule, I tell you that you should give Nigeria a shot, and you will see the remarkable change we will record. So we must work on injustice, and we must say no to that. My fellow youth, we must learn to come out and join and get involved and understand what's going on in politics. He said something again yesterday. He said, sometimes we complain, Southeast, we just have 5 states. Why is it that other states have more states than we do? The simple truth is, where were you when they were sharing the states? We were not there. We were not there. But I'm happy that we have decided to join. We together is here to help us achieve our aim. Yes, I so much believe in this movement. Of course, you know, Saturdays are now school days, almost school days. But I told my students, I am going to Oka. I said, yes, I have to go there to bring a better tomorrow for you. Yes, I am going there because I want you to have a better life than what our fathers and our mothers are experiencing today. So yes, to your question, injustice, it's a very big problem, and that must be looked into. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Stephanie. I took away a whole lot from that. I will want to have someone like you talk to me every morning. Please forgive me for saying it openly. I would have told her after this, but I have to say it. Okay. You see, like you quoted the Board of Trustee chairman, he has always said, why I quote him, how can you be the leader or president or a governor of Nigeria, in Nigeria, just because you have money? Just because you have money. That is just the determinant. Where is the integrity? Where do you want to lead the people to? These are issues that we do not consider when we begin to collect money from politicians. Now, I come back to you, Imran. What do we do as youths, as Nigerians, to move away from this evil that we inflict on ourselves as citizens?
Very good question, Mr. Chooks. What we need to do is, first of all, we need to draft a social contract with our aspirants or anybody who is vying for any office. And when we do that, then we need to also identify the qualities of a person that could take us to the promised land based on those social contracts signed. And what is key is, number one is pedigree. We have to look at pedigree. Then we need to look at competence. Strength is paramount. You need to have people with strength to be able to implement, because it's not all about the ideas, but the implementation is what is the problem. We've seen manifestos, we have seen all sorts of notes and writings that, okay, this is what I will do when I'm in the office, and this is what I can accomplish, but the implementation always becomes a problem. So we need pedigree, competence, and strength. That is what we need, especially at this juncture when we have all about people who are 80 years trying to be in the office to lead us across board. And that is why we need to be part of We Together. We need to reorganize, contribute our own quota to the development of our country as youth, join We Together and see how we can salvage the problems, the myriad of problems bedeviling our nation. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. We are going to, I wish you could continue on this discussion, but the time is not our friend. Your last word, just 30 seconds, words from Dr. Nkem Okeke. 30 seconds.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moderator. I appreciate each and every one of us for making our time to be here, to identify with We Together officially. It simply implies acceptance. Acceptance to do what? To participate in renegotiating for a better Nigeria. Acceptance to start doing it yourself at whichever level you find yourself, even if you're a cost rep. So all I can tell each and every one of us is the hope is already with us. Let us make it better. Let us make it real. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Ezibanu, Stephanie?
The willingness to stick with a bold cause is what will make this movement stand the test of time. Let's hold this thing we've started all together very close to our chest, like he said. And the sky would just be a starting point. Thank you very much.
Imran, 30 minutes last words.
Oh,
yeah.
I can still talk.
Yes. You have opportunity. Just
Thank
talk.
you. It is about taking responsibility and being good citizens being a good citizen is participating in the affairs of your nation and your country, because we don't have any other land or nation we can call ours except this. And this is a destiny we cannot change. It was predestined even before we were born. So let's be good citizens of this country. Let's participate in all political movements, political processes, and particularly let's join the We Together movement to get to the desired destination. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Barrister Ekpa.
Thank you very much. Now, we have had 11 elections from 1960 till now. The 2019 election was the 11th election we had, general election we had from 1960. We've had it wrong by the defaults and failures of our leaders, those we had a contract with. 2023 is the 12th election, general election we'll be having from 1960. It gives us an opportunity because 12th number is the number of completion. And now, as we together, as a new generation of Nigerians, if you don't have your PVCs, you are one of those people that were added to those that have failed us through the last elections, 11 elections. If you have your PVC, it doesn't just end with your PVC. Your PVC is just a card, right, that INEC has given to you. If 2023 comes and you don't remember the number of months you stayed at home as a student and to vote according to your conscience, not according to 2,000 that will end on that day of that election, then we will also count you as part of the failures of the last 11 general elections. We will not count you as part of that 12th completion of our effort to ensure that we bring about a new Nigeria.
Thank you.
Finally, please, I'm from the Southeast. I did my law degree at Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. Ile-Ife is at the core of Yoruba land. I was the president of the students' union in that school. I was at my mother's burial in Abakaliki when they started my campaign, and I won that election there. I went to NDA Kaduna, did my master's. I was the president of the PG school. Now, I went to the National Institute for Strategic Studies, Kuru. Why I'm saying this is this. If you are here and a young person and you keep thinking that we're marginalized and we shouldn't be at the forefront, we shouldn't be involving ourselves, we shouldn't push ourselves forward, please stop that notion today. The only way we can achieve the Nigeria we want, the only way Southeast can become the Southeast to which we want, Ndibo can be part of this country, is if we see ourselves as a part of the country. Get involved in an organization like We Together. And we participate in election, participate with consensus, participate at everything that has to do with this country. Definitely, we will be proud to take ownership of the country. And we'll be proud that the country belongs to all of us. Thank you. God bless every one of us.
I want to say a big thank you to all of you for your wonderful roundup words. I want to conclude this discussion session by saying that Nigeria as a nation is in an emergency world. Emergency world. You know what it means for someone to be in an emergency world? We must have a consensus today that we need to evolve a new narrative. We need to see something, say something, and do something differently. And since God has given us this platform called We Together, let us embrace it. Let us propagate the good news of We Together. And I can assure you, Nigeria will be a better place for all of us. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, I want you to put your hands together for these gentlemen and lady. A round of
We Together unveiling here in Oka. The panel just discussed, and it was a consensus that adequate sensitization and engagement of the citizen, just as the We Together Nigeria is currently embarking on, will reduce voter apathy, vote buying, and other irregularities associated with the electoral process. They also agreed to identify the quality of the people who will assume positions of Nigeria.
foolishness. So what We Together is saying that we cannot continue to do the same thing, the same way and expect a different result. Is it possible? No. So we must have to see something, say something, and do something differently. Thank you very much. I think you have it all in We Together. If you take by virtue of what transpired here today, you can see that the panelists, they know what it takes, they know their onions, and all the questions raised were addressed very intelligently. Please put your hands together for them one more time. They will have the flutist ready and the poet. We have 3-4 minutes. 3-4 minutes for poetry. Which one comes first? Poetry. Where's the poet? Our own version of Chris Okibo. Right? The poet. Okay. Poet, you have 2 minutes. Why the flutist should be ready? 2 minutes. Thank you.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dominic. I'll be doing this interview. The same United was stand and divided the whole.
All right, good afternoon, sir.
Good
So
afternoon.
this call is here
Want to know the purpose of this project today?
Today we are in the Southeast unveiling We Together. As you heard from the program, that We Together is just a movement that we created in trying to see how we can salvage this country from the existing grip of some people that are not giving us exactly what we want. And we are not participating. We can see the young people in Nigeria are not participating in the election process, and everybody is now just complaining and just sitting down and doing the future. So I think it's very important for us to create a program like this because we have seen other people agitating for Nigeria to break away from the Biafra to the other people in the European nation and things like that. Most important thing that we wanted to do is just for us to create that environment where everybody feel along and everybody feel he belongs to the system. And then we can't do it alone, and we have to bring an advocacy like We Together so that we can talk to the pensions of Nigerians, talk to the feelings of Nigerians, talk to our parents, talk to everybody that, see, this country cannot change on its own. We need Nigerians that will make things to change. So if we create a system that we want to change, so let's see how we are going to bring ourselves together. We have to see how we are going to create a system. And this system we are creating, we want to take it to the world level. We see that at the world level, professionals, elites, people that understand what good governance is are lacking at the world level. So they allow the world level to be taken over by the politicians, where they can give motorcycle and give money to people and change the dimension of the election. And there is no participation, and there is no excitement in the polity. You understand? This is what we want to do because we are recycling the leaders. So what we want to do, we want to create a new Nigeria. And by creating a new Nigeria, we have to create a system that would help us. Not only help us, a system that we can build for ourselves. And as you can see how excited the young Nigerians are. This is the Southeast. We are not in Kano, we are not in Sokoto, this is Southeast, and they are all excited that we are bringing a new Nigeria for them and new something that they can make it happen.
We Together is being achieved.
Yeah, we have done a lot of things in We Together, and we have now reached a level of some state, local government level, so state, we are going to world level. The idea of what we want to achieve is that if we can help remove 3 things from the Nigerian polity that is now developing, refusing to allow good people to join the politics. Number 1, for example, the issue of thuggery, the issue of money politics, and the money and the issue of fatherism.
What about the flutists? Come and show your own talent. You know, We Together is also for talent hunt, isn't it? So come and showcase your own talent. Onyoja. All right.
My name is Ali John Mary Obinna.
Messiah. What we need in Nigeria is a working system. We need a system that will set out criteria to identify leaders, not by money, not by popularity, but by competence. And we need a system that will identify the deficit in our governance and be able to put it together, organize it, and break it into different sections of offices, local government level, the councillor level, a state assembly level, a House of Rep level, a senatorial level, and even up to the president level, so that when you want to elect leaders, you can let them know their responsibilities, what you require them to do. Even the people that will represent, most of them don't know the difference between the role of a House of Rep member and the role of a governor. I see my people at home still asking me they need me to fix road. So, but at We Together, we are creating a system, which is what Nigeria needs now. So it's a matter of creating a system and also create the leader that, participate in that system. A system is a component of people, a component of things working together for a common goal. And this is what we need in our country. And that is what We Together is telling us. It is high time for us to rebuild our country by developing a new system and making the present system obsolete. Thank you.
I'm sorry. Can we all bring our phones out like this? I know all of us have a smartphone. Can we all bring our phones like this? Can we all put on our front cameras?
Beyond the prevailing circumstances of injustice, the prevailing circumstances of failed leadership, the prevailing circumstances of failed systems, to ensure that we ourselves, this time around, we are involved, we get involved, we our PVCs, we join political parties of our choice, and during the next general election, which is 2023. As we said earlier on, Nigeria has had 11 general elections since independence, 1960. 2023 presents us an opportunity for all of us to be involved. Vote the right candidates, vote according to our conscience. We must not, for any reason, vote because somebody is paying us to vote. We must vote because the candidates we are voting are those which we consider as the most credible, that will deliver the dividends of good governance which we've always wanted for the good of this country. And we believe that if we do that, the Southeast will begin to have good leaders, and the country will begin to have good leaders. And we can be proud to belong to a country that we all want to see.
Official We Together handle. God bless We Together. God bless Nigeria.
Thank you. But Jamilu, what did you excluded some of us? Are you saying that we are not part of We Together by virtue of age? We said no discrimination now. Is that not what we said? I can't disqualify us because of age. You can remind it. We must be
Senior Special Assistant to Niger Governor Political Strategy.
Briefly tell me, how do you feel about the project going on in Nigeria?
The project? Yeah, the project is a good one. We are hoping to have a better Nigerian with youth together. And by the special grace of God, we are calling on the attention of Nigerian youth to be part of the We Together, so as we will be part of the decision making for the coming 2023 election. Let us sit down at home and feel we are not getting involved. We are not carried along, just as the panelist speakers have said. Let's get involved. Let's participate and be part of the process that will get back to a good governance. Thank you very much. Yes.
Do it in 1 minute. Thank you.
Greater.
Well, I am so marveled because of the outcome of what I'm seeing here today. This is just few days arrangement, and you are seeing the entire youth across the Southeast. These are selected youths, not the whole youth of the Southeast. I am so marveled, I am shocked, and I'm very grateful of the awareness we are creating today using the We Together movement. I'm so excited.
How are you trying to get the youth involved in Nigerian politics?
You can see the reaction of the youths. The youths are already involved in the process. We have created the atmosphere, we have created the platform for the youths to get involved, and the process is just beginning now. It is now or never.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
NSAS. And another date has been fixed. And it's going to be 28th, which is next week Monday. It is now led for you to join us in a university that ASU and federal government has created. And that university is Street University. Let's forget about that. Let's talk about together that why we are here. So let me tell you, a lot of speakers have spoken. Two things that I want to tell you. For those of you that have your PVC, if there is need for you to go and revalidate your PVC, go and do that. And on the day of election, forget about Instagram. Forget about Twitter that day. Make a sacrifice and make sure you come out. Daddy said it the other time. Don't pay a price that you don't know. If you remain at home on that day of judgment, you will pay a price that you don't even know anything about. I want to urge you. You have listened, and I'm sure you have listened carefully. Please, let us do it together. Nigeria is our home. We don't have money to go outside the country and study. We must study here. The best surgeon in UK is from Nigeria. The best physician in UK, they are from Nigeria. It shows we can make it happen in Nigeria. Together, we can do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly recognize the presence of Honorable Professor Barrister Tim Ifediora, Honorable Member representing Njikoka, House of Assembly constituency. I want to appreciate you. Now let's listen to Khalil.
You cannot claim exclusion. You cannot claim exclusion when you have not actually gotten involved in a process. It's only when you have gotten involved in a process and you were excluded that you can claim exclusion. So youths of Nigeria must begin to get involved in political processes, okay? And I can assure you, the more number of youths that gets involved, the more it becomes impossible to be able to exclude them. You know, you can't exclude the larger population. The larger population are the ones who exclude you, okay? So let the youths get involved and begin to take power that belongs to them back.
A round of applause for him, please. That's closing remark, right? Please.
Okay, we together, it has been a consensus here in Oka. The project is aimed at mobilizing the youth to ensure that they actively participate in elections and enthroning good governance in Nigeria. Daniel Opai, NTNU, reporting from Oka.
I thank God for this special occasion, for making it possible for us to be here today. Everything very awesome. You know, without wasting much of our time, I would like to thank our leaders, the leaders of Ways Together movement. Our leaders, you people are wonderful. We appreciate you. We also want to thank the organizing committee of this program. You know, everything just as well planned. The organizing committee members, we thank you, we appreciate you. Then, ladies and gentlemen, there is no fire without smoke. Without you guys here, there won't be any program. We appreciate you. We thank you so much. We have all heard what they say. Now we have been baptized. The mandate has been given to us. It is our own challenge now to go and walk as we receive the baptism today. We are going to baptize others to make sure that this ball our leaders set rolling today will not stop. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you all. And may I use this opportunity to thank every one of us here as we are going back to our various destinations. We pray for Johnny Mercy in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, they say that all is well that ends well. I recall the chairman of Board of Trustees saying, ab initio, that God created us for two purposes. One,
It has been a while here in Oka, the Anambra State capital, where youths from the southeast gathered in
either negatively or positively.
And this project is aimed at mobilizing the youth to ensure that they actively participate in electoral processes in Nigeria. The panelists discussed and they brought out issues that will be improved upon for Nigerian electoral system to be better. And this is from Oka. We are handing over back to our regular studios in Abuja. It's back to you in Abuja. I'm Daniel Opai.
They've won one match and lost the very next one. The last time out, they won their match. And this time, is that looking like a loss against West Ham United?
I mean, when they do the big job, they do the dirty job, and they become dirty in the following fixture. It leaves so many to think of or to ponder over, Tege, and that is not Conte-esque, I would say, because Conte is a man who's known for consistency. Even when he's not getting wins, he's not getting losses. But it's not been the case for Spurs. And going to, phase of trying to get in, the bag, the issue of the top four spot, the fourth place against the West Ham United, who have got a reputation for, being consistent, and an Arsenal who have been absolutely brilliant in the past games. There are very little chances for them to go through.
All right, but West Ham United were involved in the Europa League. So do you think fatigue will play in this match? Because Tottenham had the whole week to rest. And Tottenham, West Ham were busy. So do you think fatigue would have a role in today's game?
No doubt. There's always that particular excuse for some of them. But again, we say that when the task is one that is very important, they could get some all of the courage and they could get rejuvenated because they know they stand a better chance, maybe on paper. Recently, following the trends of games and how they've been marshalling games, they know their chances are there. But what they have to do is they can't hold on to fatigue. The price, actually, is more important than your fatigue or excuses. So West Ham, the Hammers, they've been looking to do the job against Spurs, who do not have a very good record with maintaining wins and being consistent.
All right, before the win against Manchester City, Tottenham Hotspur had struggled against all sides above them, and West Ham is a side above them, at least in this season. So that's another thing that Antonio Conte has to deal with. What is the problem with getting top players like Harry Kane, Heung-min Son, just delivering results week in, week out?
So Conte made it clear at some point in the season, I think about 2 weeks ago, it almost, came all out to tell all of us, but he had to, summon a bit of courage not to expose what the actual problem was. There could be a personnel problem at Spurs, which has got to do with the kind of football Conte wants to play with Spurs. And of course, it's trying to do with how they block off plays in the middle of the park and how the defense can be a part of the attack. But he's not enjoying that at Spurs. And of course, it can't always depend on the likes of Heung-min Son and Harry Kane
to get goals
for you all the time, especially when the partnership is suffering a huge setback. And so these are factors that are missing for Spurs. And for Antonio Conte, you're going to actually suffer with this sort of thing going at Spurs.
All right, but that's not a feature match today. However, I still need that crystal ball. If you were to pick a scoreline, Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham United, what side will you tilt to?
2-1 the Hammers.
2-1 the Hammers. All right, really tough one for Tottenham, but hey, he said it, 2-1 the Hammers. But that's not the only big fixture happening this weekend. Wolverhampton Wanderers played Leeds United on Friday. Let's discuss that drama for a bit, because Leeds United need every point that they can get, and it looked at halftime a certain defeat for Leeds United against Wolverhampton Wanderers at the Molineux. But come 98 minutes. And it was Leeds United 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2.
That was a game I said was packed with a lot of what we call melodrama. I saw at some point a particular side, Wolves, became tactically paralysed. They kept on doing one thing over and over again, and there is a Leeds. They've been bleeding losses. If they managed to escape relegation, it would be by the skin of their teeth, Tega. But in that particular game, something special came from Leeds. Can they keep it up? That's the question I'm unable to answer.
Exactly. Not every team you come against, you get a red card.
Yes.
All right. That's for Leeds United. They got all 3 points that they needed. Will the Arsenal get all the 3 points they need against Aston Villa? We'll be discussing that and more when we come back from this quick break.
Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
Equip one of the world's most sophisticated technologies. We're everywhere, with a margin of over 90,000 live sport events every year. And right now, over 1 million people are waiting, calculating, staking, watching, and then we belong to a winning team. Better, bigger, more. Let's go.
The Premier League Live is brought to you by Baba Ijebu, empowered by Integral.
Welcome back to the Premier League Live, brought to you by Baba Ijebu and powered by Integral. My name is Tega Onojape, and today we'll be going to Villa Park, where Arsenal will be taking on Aston Villa, seeking to secure that top 4 spots. Now, Titus, tricky one for Arsenal. They came up against a Liverpool side, played a brilliant 60 minutes, and then capitulated. Lost by 2-0.
I think the pressure was too much for Arsenal. I think they were overwhelmed by the amazing run of Liverpool. And of course, in the past games, Liverpool have been starting games like a house on fire. They come with everything, offensive. They throw at you. You hardly get the chance or the respite to play what you've come to play against Liverpool. And that was the case against Arsenal. But it was quite great to see that they were able to, summon a bit of courage to settle into the game. Unfortunately, it was too late because the entirety of momentum had been, handed to Liverpool on the particular day.
All right, really tricky one for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta complaining to the press, because that's what he was saying, that the fixtures are a little too close together.
Barely.
It is what it is.
Yeah, barely 72 hours. I looked at the case, but again, Arteta, who's been in that situation before as a player, should know it's something that will come once.
Yeah, if you're in Europe, they'll be playing like this.
Like this football. So I really don't want him to put himself in bad stead as, a way of putting your team in this situation, like you're already creating excuses for you not to get the job done. I think of all the teams right now trying to, get goals in and their objectives Arsenal are looking more, closer and more comfortable achieving their objective, which is to secure the top 4 spot. So I think you should, limit the number of times you're giving excuses.
And complaining, making excuses ahead. All right, but they'll be facing a tricky side called Aston Villa, who have been revamped and revived by Steven Gerrard. Let's go back to the Villa Park to see what Arsenal can expect when they face Aston Villa.
Last week in the Premier League.
Then rather great score! From West Ham. They opened up Aston Villa in the blink of an eye.
A moment to relish for West Ham fans, but Pablo Fornal's strike was a bitter blow for Aston Villa supporters. Defeat in the capital. Steven Gerrard's men are still in the top half of the table, but a European place might be a target too high.
They know they came up and they lost against a very, very good West Ham team, and that has no reflection on them necessarily playing bad. Just on that day, West Ham just was a tad better maybe. Getting into Europe right now, I don't think that was his viewpoint. I think it was more of staying in the Premier League, cementing the foundation, and then just building from there.
Villa finished 17th in their first season back in the Premier League and 11th last term. A higher position yet is on the cards this campaign under their new boss. Maybe against Arsenal they can show just how far they've come.
I think from back in the 2 seasons ago, really getting relegated, to sit in the top half of the table 2 seasons later is a really good achievement, really, but it doesn't mean we're here sitting on it. We want to go to the next level.
Arsenal obviously in great form since September. I think Mikel's done a fantastic job, really found that consistency that Arsenal have been looking for some time. So credit to him for that. And this game will be different tactically to West Ham.
Well, he said it. This game will be different tactically to West Ham. Losing to West Ham United the way they did, but West Ham is in form. Now they're up against another team vying for that 4th spot, and this time it's Arsenal. Let's look at Mikel Arteta's record against Aston Villa is not really great. He's lost 3, he's won 1.
Yeah.
The good news is that one was the last one.
Yeah, sure.
Can he repeat that feat against this Aston Villa side?
Not just that, it's been a while since they won 5 straight games, talking about Arsenal in the Premier League, away from home, and there'd be loads of players who are trying to make that a reality. If they manage to do this, it'd be really massive, not just for Arsenal, but also for some players in the club. But again, this is Aston Villa. They know how to do the job since returning in 2019 to the Premier League. It's been quite tough for even Arsenal to get anything at Villa Park. So today I'm really scared. But again, because of the task at hand, Arsenal could be propelled to a different sort of football today. They could play very dirty today, and because they need to get the results.
Yeah.
That would be the dividing factor for them.
And let's look at the Aston Villa side now. It's tricky. Is it that this side is really great, or there is a Steven Gerrard impact to this side? Because they play with teams from last season. Teams were already, scared of playing against Aston Villa. But this time, it's almost like there's a certainty that if you go against Aston Villa with Steven Gerrard as manager, you could drop points.
For Steven Gerrard, yes, it's been quite pivotal to what they've achieved this season. From when he took over, they're now in the top half of the Premier League. That's just amazing. Not just that, the things that we discovered that we didn't think were possible with Aston Villa, not just having Coutinho join the club, but again, the likes of Aston Villa being able to stay with a 4-4-2. I didn't think that it was going to work, especially when Jack Grealish left the club.
Yeah.
And of course, a 4-4-2, and the manner with which Gerrard plays a 4-4-2, and having the luxury of a Coutinho being at the tip of the middle of the park, and it's just not that. Again, amazing partnerships also been formed in the squad. Talking about the likes of Ollie Watkins pairing up with Ings. It's Gerrard making Aston Villa look like a side to watch, and of course, very interesting football being played.
All right. So against an Arsenal side today, which players are going to have to step it up? They have players all across the park, but which players will make the most impact in today's game?
This new, found strategy, Tyrone Mings, one man I know definitely is level-headed and not just, with defensive responsibilities. He's been contributing to Aston Villa's fortunes, getting goals. He's got 3 assists to his name this season, and I think that is impressive. Not too many defenders can boast of that. I mean, it's just amazing for Tyrone Mings.
On the Arsenal side, though, they have some key injuries now. Ramsdale has a hip injury, so he's out, and he's been replaced by Ben Leno in the starting lineup. But also up front, Gabriel Martinelli took ill sometime today, and he's out of that starting lineup, been replaced by Emil Smith-Rowe. So here are the starting lineup for you: Cedric Soares, Ben White, Gabriel, and Tierney in back. Not much of the change there. In midfield is the usual suspects. Is Thomas Partey, is Granit Xhaka, and up front with Bukayo Saka in form, Martin Odegaard in form, Emil Smith-Rowe has come off the bench to score some important goals, so key one there. And Lacazette, who broke his scoring dock in the last game before Liverpool. It looks a good lineup until you look at the bench and you wonder if there has to be a change, where it's going to come from.
Well, that's the point with Arteta, and we have to, cope with the likes of Coutinho trying to handle things for Aston Villa in the middle of the park. So the likes of Thomas Partey, we have the bulk of the world to try to stop Coutinho, which is going to be difficult now because there's the Martinelli. We're going to get confusion who's supposed to be doing who, but to all